New features. The tide rises, the wheels turn, the waves crash, cities burn while swords clash. This rhyme was written by a 3-year-old. The tide rises. Are you ready for it? This card drop introduces 6 new cards to each playable faction. Are neutrals not a playable faction? I suppose they're not a faction. New keyword. Might. These cards might get value someday. Trigger this ability if you control a unit with 10 or more power on each of your rows. New keyboard Vice. Trigger this ability if your opponent is AFK. Then reset on counter. If you're having issues with downloading the game on Android, please refer to the workaround on our website. Changes neutral, no space. We don't put spaces in between words. Spring Equinox. Ability change to Doomed. Boost an ally unit by 0. Increase the boost by 1 for each nature card other than Spring Equinox. Wow. Elegance personified. Other than. So its value went down 2. And so now it's a 10 for 5. Well, 11 if you have Symbiosis Leader, or it's 10 plus the number of Symbiosis you have. And then you can only play each of them once. So it's still a 10 for 5 boost. And off of Simless, it will still play for at least, like Simless with 2 of these is still 2 plus 22. So like 26 points of reach probably most situations. Which is like 2 Egerns. 2 old school Egerns. But yeah. Goliath. Power change from 10 to 12. Okay. That's a buff. What about Pugo? Why would you ever... Bro, why would you ever play Pugo now? Because the number of Ogreroids in your deck boosts the king of the ogres. That's why you get to play that shitty card now. Because you're Syndicate? Yeah. Syndicate will play Pugo less than Syndicate plays Tatterwing. Cyclops. Power change from 4 to 5. So now it's just 1 provision more than Pondkeeper and, 1 point less than Pondkeeper still. But at least it's not, 2 points less for 1 more P. It's only 1 point less for 1 more P. Because Scoia'tael. Ice Troll. Power change from 4 to 5. Armor change from 0 to 2. Ability change to might at the end of your turn boost up by 1. They gave it 1 more power. So if you have might, which means at least 2 cards have been played and not answered. 1. There's only 1 card called Ice Giant. It's not a tag. It literally means like how many of that one other card do you have in your deck? Do you have 1 of them or do you have 2? So it will either be an 8 for 6 or a 5th. Sorry. It will either be an 8 for 8 if you only have one in your deck, which means you'd never play it at the 8 for 8. So it's a 15 for 8 that can get reset. Like, there's a reason we have this emote. Like, that's Ice Giant. For those of you who are on mobile. That's Ice Giant. Imagine a tortoise that doesn't have armor. That's Ice Giant. But also 5 for vision instead of 4. How much did you miss? Just the beginning. Yeah, so this will be a 15 for 8. But becomes a 1 for 8 if the opponent plays us 4. The total base power of Ice Giants in your starting deck. Is there any way to increase the base power of an Ice Giant? Does anybody know of anything that could do that? Oh God! Did you guys see the first line of the Skellige thing? Why? No. It's not the starting base power. It says the base power of the Ice Giants in your starting deck. So if the card was in your starting deck and you could increase its base power, your tune would boost for more, but you can't. So it's irrelevant. High lemon. It means that Blood Eagle can play it. I'm trying to understand why they made that change. So there's what? Is there anything else that says warrior on it? Hey, Ben Joseph. So there's Blood Eagle. If you play Herald, then playing Crack gives an extra point. I don't think there would be any Ulula interaction because it's not Crack that's doing the damage. Well, when Crack pings, there's interaction, yes. Um, I think that's the only thing I can think of. It's just Harold and Blood Eagle. Is there anything else? Wait, is it only? Yeah, also has the warrior tag. I, I don't see the word aristocrat on my screen. We'll talk about it when we get to it. I don't. Is it something to do with the new cards? Pirate from your hand. It can be any card. Um, an allied unit, 6 armor, then clashes with an enemy unit. Bronze on crate unit. Uh, damage self by own base power. Whenever you play a raid, remove all armor from self and adjacent pirates and ships. Yeah. It just makes them tutorable via Blood Eagle. Would you... This guy's also a pirate and a warrior. So you could Blood Eagle now can tutor Turgvi, Defender, Croc on Crate, Hammond. Wait, no, Hammond's not a warrior. On Crate Raiders. Tursach Invaders. Okay, that's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pirates are also warriors. So Blood Eagle would have like 7 targets in a deck. Why would you want to tutor Hjalmar? Why wouldn't you want to tutor Hjalmar? You paid 14 provisions for him. Of course you want to tutor it. Or are you saying this card is bad? Oh, the other Hjalmar? Is there more than one Hjalmar? So what? He's 10 power. You don't. You do it for the other aspect of it if you were to tutor him. Keep us posted on the knife. You're thinking of other Hjalmar. Or you're memeing. No, I got it, this sheet. But like, obviously you don't want to miss this card. But if you missed it and it's round 3 and you have Blood Eagle, it's still 10 points plus like boost them and self by the amounts removed. Like if you have 2 cards with 4 armor each, and this thing sticks, and you play a raid card, it will be an extra 16 points. That's insane. And you're almost always going to have more than 4 armor on 2 cards. So, okay, let's continue. No. It doesn't proc the second ability. It'd have to stick. I mean, people say that about certain cards, but like there's gonna be a lot of things that have to be killed. Croc being one of them. This being another. Right? I don't know. Melee boats, the other melee boat that you created using the new special. Well, okay. I mean, it Scoia'tael lose 3 points for 11 extra provisions. You don't get 11 extra provisions by cutting 2 ice giants. You get 2 extra provisions by cutting two ice giants. Ice giants are 1 provision. For all intents and deck purposes, when you're deck building, subtract 4 from every provision cost when you're comparing things. So a 10p card, okay, costs 6 times as much as a 5p card. That's what you need to think about. Like that's how you should compare them. Because the cost of adding a 10p card is removing like 6 5p cards and replacing them all with 4p, then you get to have 1 10p. Right. I'm not saying Hjalmar's like the best card. I'm just saying that like dismissing a card because it will be removed because not removing it is bad kind of glosses over the fact that whenever they remove a thing, they're not removing some other thing. Unless you're playing against a removal only deck, in which case, like, okay, you got countered. But don't you think you'll just need to lock? Sure. But then something else isn't getting locked. Like, my point is, pirates now have a lot more cards because they can have up to 3 melee boats, a thing in the graveyard you gotta banish, another thing in the graveyard that maybe you don't want them to raz. I don't know. You probably don't want Fukusian pirates anymore. But maybe you still do. I don't know. Like, they can now play Blood Eagle because they can actually play a gold also, like a couple of golds, in addition to the bronzes that it could already play. Why'd you change that, Ray? Is this one more complete? Because this doesn't have, for example, the keywords. Like Vice isn't on here, is it? I don't think anything about the new cards. I'll just wait like 2 hours and I'll see them. No MO in Old Link? I mean, I'm looking at them. You just needed to click the show more. There's 1, 2, and then there's the 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you imagine thinking you could even guess? But yeah, let's do that because, yeah. Well, we can watch his review actually, PGZ. If somebody has a link, after we review the patches, we can watch his card review. That's why it's easy to predict. No. We're not saying can you predict if the cards will be good or bad. I'm saying, would you have predicted Vice full tilt? Or like Evelyn or Boris? Like, I don't think I could have predicted the Boris rework if I was on acid. Like, it's... Oh, it will have a random fee cost between 0 and 9. It will move itself to the other... Like, fucking Boris. Known for jumping around from row to row, obviously. Boris is now like a Treant Boris. Okay? But instead of like healing himself, he'll boost himself by the coin cost. But if the coins go to 0, it's just like ChatGPT came up with those cards. At this point, they're just like saying, hey, ChatGPT, can you make a new Gwent card? And like, it's just jumbling some shit together. And they're like, all right, slap that on Boris. No one's playing Boris. Put that on Boris. What? Like, anyone remember there's a Syndicate card, or was, I don't even know if it's still the same card, but that like gave you a random amount of, did a random amount of damage, I think? Where is it? It's a 5p card, isn't it? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Damage an enemy by a random amount between 1 and 10. Have you ever seen anyone play this? Like, they were like, oh, this card's so good. Let's put this shit on Boris so that Boris will see play. Like, what the fuck, man? You telling me that you could have predicted the Boris rework? You're lying. We played it. I know we have, but that's like the exception that proves the rule. I used it once in draft. I got 1 damage. Yeah, there you go. Recap plays Wheel of Fortune. Does he really? Okay, sweet. Thanks, P Dizzy. We'll take a look after. I need another browser. We'll take a look after we finish reviewing the patch notes. All right. Wild Boar of the Sea. Power change from 4 to 6. Right. Unless you change the power to 10, your people are still going to play Svalblood over this. Like, is the fact that it's a ship getting any new advantages? Full tilt. I was like, kick, wait, what? Like, sorry, you had me there for a second. That was a timely kappa. Board SK decks? That's because it's in the like starting tree or something. They're just newbies. Less of a brick in a short round? I mean, a 6 provision for 11 is still a fucking brick. I don't care. Like, is it 2 more points? Sure. But it's like it's the same as a brick Doragary. Like, and a Doragary is more useful than this. If you ask me which I would rather have in a short round, I'd probably want Doragary over this. Still. Location synergy? How? Which location?
Hello there.
It's a ship, though. It's not a pirate. How does it have location synergy? Oh, full tilt. God damn it. Stop trolling. Hey, Rimka, how's it going? Oi, people who don't know, follow Rimka. He is the streamer that was promised. He's like carrying the Gwent category right now. 10 hours a day. Seriously, follow this fool. For some reason, he's streaming Gwent. He needs all the help he can get. All he needs our support. He's at the start of his journey to his descent into insanity. Give him a follow.
Sure. What's his highest provision cost card? I don't know. I just want to try it though. Quick game. Easy. I'll take that.
SK is getting buffs? Yeah, you need to switch your main faction from Nilfgaard to SK. It'll be fine. There you go. That's our snazzy new shout out to Nater. It's very snazzy. On Crate Armor Smith, provision cost change from 4 to 5. Ability change to boost an ally unit by the amount of armor on the highest armor unit in your hand. In your hand, mind you, not on the board where you can interact with it. No, in your hand. So this is like a bronze 5p that you play before your Terror of the Seas, and plays for like 4 plus 10, probably. Oh, you can play 2 of them. And you can play one from the new location. Yeah. Terror, which was like literally the card they nerfed one or 2 patches ago because Pirates was too strong, is now worth double if you have one of these. Pirates is going to be even more about, well, like the big problem with Pirates was their top end golds weren't very good, and you had to draw certain cards in your hand at the right time to get like leader passive value. Well, now there's more cards that get armor, and then there's more armor payoffs. So it feels like what they wanted to do was like they looked at Pirate Necker and were like, wow, this deck plays literally 1 pirate and 1 ship. Well, like 1 pirate and like 3 ships. That's not good. We want pirates to be piratey. Just like we want Symbiosis to play all the nature cards. And just like we want Wild Hunt Frost, White Frost to play all the Wild Hunt cards. And we want Insectoids to play all the organic cards. And, you know, Fisher Price deck building, right? The square goes in the square hole and the circle goes in the square hole. Trust me, like, I don't think they were happy that when they reworked Firesworn, all that happened was we put Disciples in off the books or Jackpot or whatever. Whatever was like the best Syndicate deck gets the best units. We're still not playing Congregate, so they didn't like that. So instead of just like fixing the cards, they put these like conditional tags on them that said, boost self by the number of nature cards in your deck. Boost self by the number of Olgaroids in your deck. Like, they're doing the same thing. They're saying, okay, Pirates was too strong or was like too commonly played on the ladder and in tournaments. We had to nerf it, and also Roach for some reason. because fuck anybody else that wants to play Syndicate or Pirate type decks. Other factions aren't allowed to do that. So instead of just nerfing like the cards from the factions that are OP in that deck, we're gonna shoot everyone who plays Roach. Yes, they did. Terra used to be like one more power. So they nerfed it by 1 power. And now they've buffed Wild Boar by 2 power. Pirates are saving us from call. But were they really saving us? Or like, I just like making something less common on ladder tilts me even more because now I don't even like tech for them in my decks, or I don't even account for them in deck building. And the 1 out of 10 card 10 games I run into them or whatever, I'm even more tilted because like there's like literally nothing I can do because I don't have Heat Wave and I don't have like ways to remove like a bunch of 4Ps or whatever, because like I figured no one would be playing Cultists right now with Pirates being so meta. But there were still Pirates I ran into constantly during. There was still Cultists I ran into constantly during Pirate meta. Because, gotcha, bitch. And so, like, I don't want that to be a balancing factor. But that's like splitting hairs, right? Vitality on Phoenix and call it a day. I mean, I'm fine with them trying something and then seeing if it improves it. But that approach requires that A, they do this on like 50 different cards every patch instead of just 5 cards. And that they follow up. They should be like, wow, the Phoenix buff didn't do jack shit. Let's buff it a little bit more. Or, you know, like, it's the follow-up that's missing. Because what happens is like, that one intern who came up with that vitality buff is now back in school, and the new intern forgot about the Phoenix thing. Wait a second. This wasn't in the video, was it? Cat, why are you trying to buff Golden Necker? Golden Necker's a neutral card. Neutral cards can't be good. I can hear the editing right now. Like literally, there's edits happening in my head. So long, Jutta? Yeah, why would you ever play Jutta now? It's literally... Also, Megascope on Great Swords will be worth 12 points now? In round 3? Oh, base copy, you're right. You're right. So they increased the ceiling from 10 to 12. Didn't there flop at all? Bro, Blob's only been meta for like 2.5 months. Maybe next year. Rimcat. I know you're new, but like... you have to account for CDPR time dilation. This ain't Dota. What, you want like weekly balance changes? Fuck off. You get vitality on Phoenix. Now eat your insert Polish food here and like it. Piroshki? Is that a Polish thing? Oh my god. Tier on Great Swords. Well, they were upset because this was a warrior that wasn't getting played in warriors decks. Where you at? So wait, why would anyone play Scoia'tael now? I don't know. I mean, Jutta was already said. My big problem with Great Swords is their base power, like, and when it's abused with like Megascope or Croc or whatever. They're better than Jutta with ice in round 3. If you have Bran, yes. In round 2, if you have Bran, they're the same. If you don't, they're 1 point less. No, Jutta 7. And Jutta has like a different downside, right? Jutta destroys himself. No. Jutta takes 6 damage and can't recover it if it is the highest unit. So it's a bit weird. It's also Berengar, which is like another 12 for 6. So like, I don't know. Maybe they forgot about Jutta existing. Jutta should be 6p and Skull should be 5p. Lemon. I will take that suggestion seriously the day that they fix this first. You want Scoia'tael to be 5p? And this is in the game. And they literally just looked at Ogoroids. Well, now that Goliath has 2 more points, surely everyone will play it. Bro, the reason this didn't see play wasn't because it wasn't tall enough. You could have given this like 3 armor and it would have been better. Like, if the thing's gonna get removed, it doesn't matter if it was 10 or 12. It's not like they were gonna, like, mastercrafted spear it twice, and now they can't. Like, what 10 removal was there that 12 is now protecting it from? The problem with Goliath is that when they kill it, the opponent gets a tall card that they can predict. Because they know their deck, and you sometimes don't. Rework your tune. That's only for monster cards, Jadolov. Only monster cards get reworks like that. Where they're literally still not played. Remember Hybrid? Hybrid got reworked. Anyone remember what Hybrid's ability used to be? I fucking don't remember. I actually don't remember. And it's a monster card. That tells you how much that card was played. I'm going to have to look it up. What's Hybrid? This card. This is Hybrid. But if you go back to like 8.0, whenever you consume 1 or more units, boost self by 1. So it was like a Vran warrior that only worked on consumes rather than destroy. And then it got changed to if a unit was consumed during this turn, boost self by 4. Like, they reworked the card. They gave it a melee and ranged ability, and still no one would play it. Let's go back all the way. Whenever a unit is destroyed during your turn, damage a random enemy unit by 1. Wow, a monster card that does damage? No way. Whenever you're destroyed during your turn, boost self by 1. And then, so it was 4 for 4 in patch 4.0, and then somehow it got nerfed. I don't know why. But it got nerfed to be 5 provisions. And then it got an armor. Like, it was 4 for 4 with no armor. Then it became 4 for 5 with no armor. Then it became 4 for 5 with 1 armor. Then it got changed to 4 for 4 with 1 armor. This also makes it good with what's the one? Spawn Ridge. So if you use like iced to, you know, to throw a great sword into the graveyard, or if you discard it with coral, or if it dies or whatever, Swan Ridge gets more value now because it's based on the base power. Yeah, Ran Warrior might have been because of V. They do in Blaze of Glory because you ice the Jutta and then you play the Swan Ridge, and it plays for as a 15 for 8. So it's like a Yotun that doesn't require you put 2 garbage ass bricks in your deck. You know what I mean? And it's like the last non-neutrality that went to your graveyard. So it's like you have time. Oh yeah, you can also use this guy, Drake Bond Binary. Drake Winmore. You can use that to put a greatsword. Drake Bondush. There you go. Thank you. Highland Warlord. Added VFX to the deploy ability? Oh, to show you that it's like buffing the raid cards in your deck? Okay. Good change. Sure. Northern Realms. Huh? She didn't seem very well. Whatever. I don't care. It's fine. Reduce the time by 1 for each adjacent unit with an inspired ability? Right, because what we need in this game is more cards that get value on deploy. That's cool. I mean, Meave sucks right now, so I'm not against buffing Meave, but like the times when Meave gets value, it's another one of those like, oh my god, he has Military and he played Piquant and I don't have a row punish, and like next turn he's gonna get 65,000 points. So now you can't even answer it. Because on deploy, the timer will go to 1 and it will immediately boost everything. These are like, I can just tell you right now why they did it. It's for lore reasons. Look. When you're doing a sprint plan, you put in some big items that take like decades of work, like the Yotun rework. And you also put in some small stuff, like adding attack to a card. So that when that intern has done their 4 hours of work on the balance each month, and they only have 10 minutes left, they can do this. That's why we got like the bandit retag, like the control F faction name to non-neutral in a different patch. Like, you gotta space those things out. Reamcat, my guy. You're expecting balance changes based on the meta of like this year. That's what's wrong. Stop it. You gotta wait your turn. Next year. Next year they'll nerf the cards that were meta this year. I gotta feed my cat. I have fed my cat. If I don't feed him, he'll feast on me. And then there will be no one to nerd rage about Gwent for your entertainment. Yeah, it's no longer required for me to be inspired, which is fine. Yo, Crash, thank you for the sub.
I'm not a judge or jury, but I can tell you this. He won't sell anybody out to buy his future. And that, my friends, is called integrity.
I think the tag is just...
Crash27_sub hype. It will be fine, derps is fine.
Thanks, Crash. No, I think Meave will legit see play. The problem with Meave was that sometimes it would just play for 7. Like, it required setup, and then after you played it, like, opponent had 3 turns to react. And sure, maybe you could give it armor again, but like, when you took the armor off, the timer got paused, right? And so you only played it with shield wall. And even then, it could still get locked and whatever. Now, Meave will come down as like a negative Svalblub. Right? Like, it's the Svalblub that boosts all... No, because it doesn't boost enemy cards. Only yours, right? For 9p, it might be too good. Niche? I think it's going to be a lot more than niche. So, like, military deck, right? 10 units. Very easy to have 2 inspired things. It says 7 plus a bone talisman on deploy, but then it will keep getting value. There aren't many good inspired units? That's not true. And Seius is inspired. And Priestess? Okay, yeah. There aren't that many. Is this really all of them? So this sees play, this sees play. These 2 see play. This one mostly from Temple. This sees play in like Shield Wall decks. Or some like Golden Necker decks. Some cheesier versions of like Shuffleopagus. This does not see any play. This is like in the starter deck. This sees play, but only because it's like a not terrible bronze. As like a filler. Raven Akimbo? No, because that's about being boosted in deck. I guess because it's the order, the power of the card with the order. Does formation count? I mean, every formation card gives you inspired, isn't it? Oh wait, this is also... No, I don't think formation necessarily counts. It needs to have inspired. It needs to have the word inspired for it to work. Yeah, formation doesn't count. It has to be inspired. Yo, Sam. Yep, patches tomorrow, and we're getting 36 new cards. So... You mean Ogoroids, sir? Please. Have some respect. I'm going to let that one slide since you haven't been around in a while. But if you repeat that slander, Mr. Pugo and his attorney will be in touch. Yeah, 2 bronzes, like, it won't be super hard. I mean, and says you rarely play him on range draw, but like any mutagenerator deck that plays like this stuff could play mute. Have I seen the patch notes? What does this say? What do you think I'm doing right now? Take a wild guess. That's true. There could be more inspired cards coming. All other kings and queens, including Ildiko, now also have the aristocrat. Oh. Well, hold on. Okay. So there must be something in the new patch. Or it's just a random lore thing again. The necklace was Ildiko's gift to King Belahun in honor of their impending marriage. It's because they were planning on getting married and I guess something happened to her or whatever. It's a lore reason to mention it because I'm guessing it's not, it's slightly ambiguous whether she's a queen or not. It says it was Ildiko's gift to King Belahun in honor of their marriage. In honor of their impending marriage. By choking the old fool, solve that problem quite nicely. Yeah, I'm not a lore expert. I'm just giving you like the most common sense, rational, non-insane, non-conspiratorial reason as to why they would mention Ildiko. It's not a secret hint for you to be able to decipher that there's something changing with Ildiko. It's just, it wasn't, when they do something like this, it's because kings and queens by itself does not make it absolutely clear that Ildiko is also becoming an aristocrat, so they specifically called her out. It's not because Ildiko is getting reworked and you haven't been told about it or some shit. Like, that's why they say including Ildiko. Like, it's literally the reason to say including X. Because just in case you weren't sure, it yes does in fact, like, it's answering a question you haven't asked yet. Which is, hey, does that include Ildiko? And they're saying, yes, it does. Like, if you want to know the lore, just literally Google Ildiko Witcher lore. Like, it takes you 30 seconds. You don't have to have a 5-minute, like, discovery fucking conversation about, I wonder this and that. We have Google. You're literally on the internet. This is live. You have access. Go fucking Google it. I can trigger ball with copied Ildiko now? Yeah, I can trigger my brain with things that comes out of chat's mouth. What's the purpose? We don't know if there's a purpose. It could literally just be for lore reasons. Consistency, blah, blah, blah. Like, it could have just been something that was on their list. Go through, like, the cards and make sure everything has the right tag, because that's something that was, like, that kept getting pushed back. And they said, 2023, before we, pack up and go, make sure all the tags or whatever. So, like, they've been going through a bunch of stuff. Like, they added a bunch of, like, alchemy tags to, like, they added tags to artifacts. They added tags to a bunch of elves, bandit. Yeah, it could be for draft, like, so you can play, like, scenarios with other faction cards. Who knows? Like, there's nothing in NR that currently mentions aristocrat. So either there's something in the 4 cards we're gonna find out about in like an hour and 15 minutes, or what is it, 2 hours and 15 minutes? Or it's just for lore. Scoia'tael, spring. This is the keyword on traps. Ability change to manual activation of a face down trap. Spring is activated automatically on a trap played next to an artifact. So if opponent plays a trap, then plays a unit, and then you kill the unit, he can't play another trap. He has to play a unit first. I mean, he could, but then the trap gets activated right away. That's what this means. This, I think, is like a stating the obvious kind of thing. So that, like, I don't think it means they become face down again. Yeah, you can still. Spring is literally the manual activation of a face down trap. But if you play a trap next to another artifact, it will automatically be sprung. If it has, the spring keyword. Can you still manually activate them? I don't know. They should really be, maybe they should put the word manual in there so we know. Salty was changed to authority, yeah. I've moved on past grief and I'm in denial. Sorry, Full House. Ibaratory. Power change from 2 to 6. Oh, sweet. Wow, this is a huge buff. Provision cost change from 9 to 6. Holy shit. Hattori's going to be auto-included in every deck. Ability change to whenever you play an artifact, boost the... What the fuck? Why? Moving on. Yorvith. Power change from 4 to 6. Yorvith. Move an ally trap back to your hand, then play a trap. So right now it's a 4 body plus a trap that you've already, it's plus a trap you've already played, right? It's 4 plus a trap you already played. Now it's going to be 6 plus... Instead of just picking up, so it says added new part. So it's going to have the old ability, but then it's going to say if you have 6 or more, If you have 6 or more traps in your starting deck, play 2 of your choice instead. So this is the card that will get value if you're already winning by a lot because you have a bunch of traps and you have 2 traps in your hand, 1 trap on the board, and at least 2 units also on the board so that you can play 2 more traps. And you had 6 traps in your starting deck. Look. Wait, what? Oh, different card. Ignore what I said in the past, I don't know, 2 minutes. Oh. Wait, so they just changed this from 4 to 6? Fine, whatever. No, this card was almost never played except in degenerate decks. Yeah, you get to pick which 2 traps to play, which is actually good. Makes the card less clown, but it's still 12p. But they moved their card from 4 to 6, but they're adding 2 new traps to the game. Changed. I think there's going to be some neat stuff with the trap that spawns Deadeye because it has a spring on it. So you can sacrifice 3 points on that in order to let yourself play the second trap. I think that 2 traps for 12p and 2 thinning It's basically Siggy at launch, right? But Siggy could play even more expensive cards. The most expensive trap is 8. They made it so traps don't have to only be artifacts? What do you mean? What makes you think that traps are not going to be artifacts? What did I miss? Reorden? What's Reorden? I'm looking through the new cards. Oh, this guy? Play trap from your... But he only plays one trap. But you can play one or the other. Has a 5 body. Is one more provision. Yeah, probably a better card than this. No, they already removed Omen from the game. Johnny, they don't think it's worth 11p. They removed Omen from the game when that card dropped, actually. When they wrote the description. So I'm not really worried about it. As far as I'm concerned, Omen's like a urban legend. It's a card from like pre-homecoming beta. SD Siggy? Wait, can he play 2 things? Play just at least one. He plays both. Omen is the friends we made along the way. Tara, why you gotta say things like that? Jotun has deploy. So when it gets Vilga Force out, it's gonna be a 1. So it was an unconditional tavern brawl? That sounds busted. Thanks, Full House. Yeah, if Reorden works the way that we think it works, Yorvit's Gambit is like... I don't know, but I imagine you're going to play traps with Deadeye ability. That's the easiest to satisfy the condition. So it's like... Is it really going to be any less degenerate when they can spawn the unit the turn that they play it? No. I think traps will still be toxic and cancerous. It's a type. I agree. That's an error. Both are going to be played from your deck. Is what I understand. Otherwise, they would like, mill you, right? Because it doesn't say draw a card. It just says from your hand. Like, why would you ever want that? It just loses you card. There wasn't enough time to fix the graphic and change that one word from hand to deck. You can check his spreadsheet here, Sam. I have a link to it. Oops. In my compendium. Why is Carswell one still 5p? Because if it was 4p, it'd be busted. And Light Cav isn't strictly better. Light Cav is probably just a little too good. But they're not going to nerf it at this point. Do you think Anjulia's toxic as Gabain said? Probably. Anju's always toxic. Morning, Ergoth. Wait. Wait. What? This, oh, at least reduce the power to 3 or something. The problem with this card is it's going to be really good on blue coin if you have Crystal Skull. Because of that stupid ass interaction between Crystal Skull and Log Self cards. Syndicate, no changes. How you feeling, Val? You guys know the best 4P in the game is none of those things, right? It's Brockbar Warrior. I need Larva to be 5P again. First off, bullets, my guy. Bullets. Second off, you don't write it like this. You say, fix the bug that prevented players on Steam to issue friendly challenges. You don't say it will be functional or it is functional once again. Like, you don't know that. The patch hasn't gone live yet. How the fuck do you know? Whatever. We'll no longer, again, just say fix the bug that was causing blah, blah, blah. Because then if it happens, you'll be like, yes, that's a different bug. We fixed one of the things that was causing it, but a different thing is causing it. Like, you can tell they have no experience in software development because you'd never write patch notes like this. Bullet points guy was transferred? Yeah, you think they have money for bullet points? Stop harassing indie dev company. My bad. This is nice. I had not. Did I ever run into this? There's a lot of nonsense I run into with monster decks. I don't think I ever had this issue. Wolfsbane acid spit interaction. We did? Oh yeah, we did. I raged about it. I was like, what the fuck? Because based on the wording, it should have worked. That's why I stopped playing my Wolfsbane deck. Okay, well at least that's fixed. So that's the patch. Swab blood is still a thing. Temple is still a thing. And I guess strap in. Let's see what the new NR cards are going to bring.